Welcome back to another episode of your Digi Hustle News. As always, I'm Wade Teamer. Markets are in the green today. That's why I'm wearing this shirt. But this market recovery is merely just that, guys. We needed to recover some losses from yesterday, but it is good to see double-digit gains, starting with Bitcoin currently at 39,300, XRP back in the 70-cent range, which is always a good sign, and our friend Crypto.com, now rebranded as Chronos, has crept its way back into the 40-cent range as well. So things are good at the moment on the market. We're going to dig deeper into the technicals in a second. But first, I want to share with you guys some of the news that we're talking about in today's episode because it is very important to this greater narrative. Starting with Ripple and the SEC, yes, it's still happening. We are going to break down some of the most recent developments. Decentraland lures another legacy brand into its metaverse, and we're also going to talk Digibyte and VBS Finance. I got some great information for new investors that you're really not going to want to miss. But our main focus in this episode will be the situation in the East because the crypto narrative that is coming from this conflict will paint a very interesting picture. Now, if you want to continue to stay updated on the global crypto landscape, make sure you hit that subscribe, share this information so that it reaches more people. And now let's get into these charts. Guys, today we are seeing green, a slight pump in price action, but again, this is recovery money. However, the technicals do illustrate that this was bound to happen. On the daily, we can see the type of week that we had. We pretty much rolled that lower Bollinger Band until about last evening. The weekly, which was red at one point this week, I want to say Tuesday and Wednesday, we flipped into the red, but we are back in the positive. Now, keep this in mind too, guys. We have a weekly close and a monthly close occurring at the exact same time. The last time this happened and we had upwards momentum was last month, as you can see here, and we started February, on the upside. So that's very good to see. Now, there's two things I want to point out to you right now. On the monthly, we are still holding that support level that has been pretty much respected since March of 2020. And then on the weekly, guys, our level of resistance is still 51K, but that bottom still puts us at 30,000. And the fact that we didn't break through that is very significant. And at the moment, the charts are showing that we have enough strength to stay at this level. Before we get into the major news of the day, let's talk about some major money-making opportunities. First of which is going to be Digibyte. Now, if you're new to the space and you haven't heard of Digibyte, let me be the first to tell you, this is not the same Digibyte in 2022. If you've heard the stories about the conflicts of interest and the corporate drama, again, this is not the same Digibyte. I am preparing a much longer term outlook for the Digibyte project, but we're going to use this article as sort of a primer. Now, like I said before, Digibyte is an OG blockchain originating back in 2014, created by the legendary Jared Tate. The Digibyte blockchain is a multi-layer project, so think about Polkadot and its use of parachains. The first layer is where you will find your smart contracts and decentralized applications and NFTs. So, yes, Digibyte has NFTs. The second layer is where transactions are made using the Digibyte token. So, this means that, yes, Digibyte is a utility project. And then the last layer is the infrastructure layer where you have nodes and other crucial pieces to the blockchain where they sit. Now, last year they unveiled the metaverse layer. Okay, let me show you what that looks like. But yes, this means that Digibyte is a metaverse token. So, like I said, this is not the same Digibyte, not in 2022, guys. If you're holding Digibyte and you want to get some information from that long-term analysis video, yeah, make sure you hit that subscribe button, guys, because that's going to be very big. Now let's talk VBS Finance, the DeFi token for the Chronos blockchain. Now, VBS Finance is a automated market making protocol or market maker tool that simplifies the DeFi experience on Chronos. Now, what makes VBS Finance stand out is, of course, its ease of use. But from a technical standpoint, VBS has a very unique feature that looks to address a major problem in DeFi, and that's slippage. Now, slippage is a term used to describe what happens when you trade an asset for another one and the value of that asset is slightly lower than you initially thought it would be. VBS addresses this problem by allowing for quick swaps across multiple chains that are compatible with Chronos. And if you caught our video analysis on the Chronos blockchain, you know that interoperability is one of their strong suits. Now, in addition to this, they offer multiple ways to get your transaction in liquid environments like yield farming, liquidity pools, staking, and mining. Now, all of this creates an environment where liquidity providers are always balancing the books, providing liquidity across diverse pools. This helps manage price action in a very volatile environment. Now, here's where I really see the opportunity for VVS Finance in 2022. It's the DeFi standard for crypto.com. Crypto.com, we know, is going to be here. Okay, it's going to be a long-standing blockchain. It is now in the crypto consciousness. On top of this, not many people even know about this platform, okay? And they're already expanding rapidly. They have set a very strong foundation from a technological standpoint. So, yeah, it's only a matter of time, guys. So, it's best that we get in before the masses do. Let's get into some crypto news. First, we're going to start with Ripple and the SEC, guys. It appears that the SEC has no merit. This we know. Now, for those who aren't familiar with this situation, this goes back to 2020 when the SEC first went after Ripple for allegedly selling XRP to investors at the beginning. If this were to have been true, then XRP would have been a form of unregistered securities here in the United States, and that is a big problem. Now, since then, the SEC has been trying to prove their case against Ripple. But the further we get into this, guys, the more we realize that they just have no argument. The recent release of those two memos that we covered last week on the channel are serving to prove a death knell because they are explicitly detailing how Ripple took all the proper actions in the beginning. Essentially, the SEC ain't got nothing to stand on. Now, the reason why this conclusion is so massive is because of what it means for the SEC and the broader crypto space in general. For Ripple and crypto, it's the ultimate validation. For the SEC, it's the ability to maintain their authority in future securities cases. But when you zoom out and look at the bigger picture, guys, and you know that's what I like to do here, the current conflict in the world has digital currencies written all over it, which we'll see later in this episode. But what also is at stake is America's place in it all. If they don't progress faster with a digital currency, they will be left behind. This case is one of their biggest roadblocks. So I really see the end of this coming in the coming months as this tension grows and digital currencies become the talk of all the nations. Next, we have Decentraland and Wrangler getting into the future. Now, the details of this one isn't really vast, but one thing we are learning is that Decentraland is Bitcoin to the metaverse. Now, the details of this one, to commemorate their 75th anniversary, they are looking to work with Grammy Award winning artist Leon Bridges on an NFT collection that will showcase memories from his career. Now, the drop is going to correlate with this year's Fashion Week in September, which is also taking place in Decentraland, and they're going to have intermittent drops leading up to the event. Now, the main reason I covered this one was to show you guys a trend that's forming. Okay. Now, the fashion world has slowly been entering the crypto space, and they've been doing it through the metaverse, mainly Decentraland. But in the last few months, guys, we have seen a number of big brands, including Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Balenciaga, Puma, and Nike get into the space. It's clear that a trend is forming, and it's starting with Decentraland. Next up in international news, El Salvador is looking to offer citizenship to foreign investors, guys. In a tweet that he sent out a few days ago, he stated that I'm sending 52 legal reforms to Congress to remove red tape, reduce bureaucracy, create tax incentives, citizenship in exchange for investments, new securities laws, and stabilities contracts. He ended the post by stating that the plan is simple. As the world falls into tyranny, we'll create a safe haven for freedom. Now, I'm going to admit a couple things to you guys right now. One, this is the most I've ever heard about El Salvador in my life. Two, this notion of foreign investors having citizenship in other countries, is not foreign. Okay, this is something that occurs in traditional markets, and to see it kind of permeating into the blockchain industry is very good. Now, his actions have also started a quickly accelerating trend, guys, and I'm talking about Brazil. A new bill is headed to the Senate that would legally recognize crypto in the country. The Economic Affairs Commission of the Senate approved the project that regulates the rules for the market in Brazil. Pretty much, if this bill passes, guys, it will allow Brazilians to make payment in Bitcoin. Brazil will also recognize virtual asset service providers with the proper government issued licensing. Now, we're going to continue to keep an eye on what's happening in Latin America because to me, they're looking like the example of what the rest of this world is going to resemble by the end of this decade. Notice the trend here, guys. Ukraine, Russia, India, Central America, Brazil, Europe, and China are at the point of legalizing digital assets. Now, on the subject of nations, we need to talk about what's really going on with this new conflict. Will Russia switch to crypto if SWIFT blockade is enacted? I am starting to see this pop up a lot more, guys. The very first response that the US made was to attack Russia financially. Why do you think that is? Well, let's pull a couple details from this article written by Martin Young, courtesy of BN Crypto. The first thing that we learned is that this is a global effort, with the EU and Australia also going public with other G7 nations about imposing these sanctions on Russia. Now, SWIFT, if you don't know, is the current global payment system, the Belgian organization used by more than 11,000 financial institutions worldwide. The concern is that placing these sanctions on Russia will push them closer to China in developing their own currency, something that they have been doing for a number of years now. This we know. In essence, what's being presented here, guys, is the catalyst for the most volatile bull run that we have ever seen. The market will literally resemble manipulation and liberation at the exact same time. Now, we are currently seeing a nice recovery, okay? But to me, it seems kind of out of place. Even though the technicals illustrate that this could happen, I really feel like something is still just off at the moment. Let me show you why. US tech giants are joining this fight. Apple and Google are halting activity for Russian customers of the two major financial institutions that were named by Biden in these sanctions. FTX just wants to donate $25 to all of its Ukrainian customers, which is not bad, but it is probably contributing to the $4 million in Bitcoin that is also being donated. At the same time, Russia is still playing it smart. Their bill to regulate crypto is still moving through government, and the leading exchange in the Ukraine has seen a spike of over 200% since this conflict broke out. What I'm saying here, guys, is that the last war that I saw, all they talked about was oil and resources. Now, the only thing I'm hearing is digital dollars and Bitcoin. Before we get out of here, we're going to take a listen into the owner of that exchange, the one that's leading the game right now in Ukraine in the form of Kuna, because he's going to illustrate to us exactly what's going on the ground out there right now when it comes to how people are making this transition to Bitcoin and digital assets. But before we get into that, I want to remind you guys of this statistic. 26% of the wheat in the world is coming from Russia and Ukraine. Now, I know that may not sound like a lot in the beginning, but Remember what we have learned so far in this space. Things like this major seafood producer, Thai union launches shrimp blockchain, traceability pilot. Guys, we've been seeing these puzzle pieces, these Easter eggs, if you will, this whole time. VeChain, okay? That's just the name one. We already know the others. But that is something else that we need to pay attention to as this conflict develops.
The In terms of financial panic, yes, there is a panic. So if you want to buy, and in Ukraine, people want to buy crypto right now. They want to get rid of the cash. So the how the market here works is that we usually buy crypto via the Tether USDT. So first you take cash, you exchange it into USDT, and then you buy Bitcoin either or whatever on any exchange that you will. So right now, I have a pool of high wealth individuals who want to buy Tether, and unfortunately, we can't even buy it with the 4% premium. So you're giving $100,000, and you'll subtract 4% out of that, and you still can't get this Tether. So Tether is more valuable than US dollar.
If you found value in this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this information with friends and family. If you're new to crypto, I have links to the most notable exchanges in the description. Using the links below supports the channel and comes with special bonuses for members of our network. For more information on the new economy, check out the playlist related to this episode on the right and our most recent episode on the left. As always, have a great day, have a prosperous day. Most importantly, we making this money. I'll see y'all in the next one.